crazy. I'm like,
Okay. All right. It's all good. Let me get
yeah.
you going.
So you my man. So I'm the because honestly, if you were somebody else, I'd be like, yo, we got to move this to another date. But I was like, yo, Will, that's my guy. He's always been supporting me. So I'm gonna suck it up. We gonna make this happen.
All right. No, we can do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get it done.
Let's go. Let's go.
This is a
Let's
good way to
go.
start, man. Welcome to another episode of Here's What I Got. I always have people on here who I am impressed by and who are doing great things in the community with their lives and everything. Today I have my friend, my man, 100 grand. Listen, he's a superhero DJ, but I call him John Quick, and that's what that's what he is. He's John Quick to me. And we're gonna get to know John today. What's up, man? Welcome.
What's good, man? It's a pleasure to be here, man. You know you my dude, man, for life. It's all good.
It's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. It hurts so bad when hearts are parted. Oh, heaven knows. Oh, no. Oh, heaven knows.
We have a great online friendship. We met in person, probably at a gig you were doing, but really when we went to the Black
The Black Panther joint, yeah, that was amazing. That one picture with the car with the scratch
Oh,
marks, man.
oh.
I was so sad to hear they were not willing to sell it to me. I was like, damn it. Like that's one car I would take damaged.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But but you listen, you are always doing great things for the community. You have been an inspiration, I know, to many people who cut the cord on their day job and really committed to artistry full time. And so I love that you've done that. But I want people to hear about your journey. But let's start at the beginning, man. Let's talk about how you grew to love music, where you grew up, and just tell me what that journey was from being a boy in West Virginia, yes,
Yep, yep.
and coming over to the big city and doing amazing things.
Well, first of all, I'm impressed that you did your homework because a lot of people don't know I'm from West Virginia.
Mm.
Grew up in Philly until the third grade. Then from third grade to sixth grade, was in Nutley, New Jersey, and that's when I first started like noticing, like really paying attention to music. And I remember I was driving into the city with my dad, God rest his soul, and
Mm.
we were going like this is like I was really big into like the martial arts then, as a fourth grader, and we're going into the city. We listen to the radio, and I remember, matter of fact, we were going. I'm gonna tell you where we were going. We were going to the Felt Forum. That's
Oh,
old school New York. That's old school New York to see ABC's International World of Martial Arts. I think that's what it was called. Whatever, Wild World of Sports. It was some type of Wild World of Sports thing on martial arts, and
right.
like Jim Kelly was going to be there, Chuck Norris. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was excited about it. But anyway, I remember telling my dad then, listen to WBLS. I said, Dad, when I grow up, I'm going to be a DJ on WBLS. I
Mm.
said that as a fourth grader, and you know, from there, from sixth grade, we moved to Dunbar, West Virginia, which is a suburb of Charleston, the capital. For those of you who know who Randy Moss is, I lived on the other side of the city. He lived on the far side where the Klan and all them was at. Whatever. Yeah, his area. You go up the wrong hollow, you might end up on a tree. So it was crazy. But anyway, long story short, my mom and dad always bought music, especially my mom. She grew up, when I was young, I remember listening to Earth, Wind and Fire, Al Green, you know, it, you know, Parliament Funkadelic, um, who else? Teddy Pendergrass,
Mhm.
and So it's funny because my early memories of like someone like Al Green, Stevie Wonder, they got definitely got to add Stevie Wonder, LTD. But my early memories of listening to music is I remember on Sundays at the church, my mom would throw on Al Green and be like, "Yo, go in there and clean your room up." And so I grew up hating Al Green. So, but now I can appreciate his music. Like it's beautiful to me.
Mhm.
Whereas it's so funny as a young kid, I'm like, oh, I hate that record. Because I guess I kind of connected it to cleaning my room.
It was punishment.
So, yeah, exactly. So in terms of the DJing thing, I remember um, in West Virginia, we didn't have any black radio stations, but we did have one black show for 2 hours. It was a mix show that came on. Um, it came on Sundays from 6 to 8 p.m. It was called Black Beat. Yeah, and the brother was from. Even though the brother lived in this area called Beckley, which is even more country or whatever, he was from New York, so he knew how to mix. Now,
Uh-huh.
mind you, think about this is like in the mid 80s, early to mid 80s. So, nobody around me knew how to do it and whatever. But he was like an hour and change away. But he would DJ at this club, maybe like a block from my house, like maybe like once a month. It was called the Chew Chat.
Chat.
The Chew Chat.
Okay.
So what I did as a 14-year-old, I was listening to him one night. He said he's going to be at the Chew Chat that following Saturday. So I said, yo, I'm going to get there like an hour early and stand up front. Hopefully I can meet him. He can tell me what to do. So that's what I did. And sure enough, he pulled up. And I think he was just enamored with this little 14-year-old kid, scrawny kid, asking him like about DJing and stuff. So he said, hold on, let me get set up. Just wait out here. I'm going to bring you out something. So he went inside. I guess he got set up. He came back out with this napkin. And what he had drawn on the napkin was the 2 turntables, the mixer, and like I think a mic or whatever. And he told me you got to get the mix. You got to get 2 turntables in the mixer. You got to hook them in, and then you'll have to figure out yourself in terms of how to blend the records together.
Right.
So, all right. So I did. I used to cut lawn and make money like that. So I saved up my money. I bought a mixer. I had a turntable, my mom's turntable, and then my next door neighbor had another turntable. So I said, yo, let me borrow this for like, a couple weeks, man. You know what? He was like, yo, whatever. I don't really even use it that much.
Mhm.
And so I had Mitch Max turntables. Neither one of them was 1200s on direct drive. And I had a mixer that didn't even have a crossfade on it. It was a Radio Shack mixer that you just slide up and down.
Mhm.
And I figured out that, now mind you, I'm doing this on my own. I figured out that the tone arm, the pitch control could slow the record down and whatever. And, I said, yo, I was classically trained as a drummer when I was in Jersey.
Okay. All right.
So I understood, the difference between a beat like this and a beat like this. And that's all DJing is matching up beats, really. So I began in my room, started DJing them. I started inviting my friends over to hear me. It's like, yo, you're good. And so by the time I was 15 years old, I remember being in music class, and I grew up next to an HBCU, West Virginia State College. So basically all the student teachers would come over to my high school, Dunbar High School, to do their student teaching. So I remember we was in music class one Friday. It was free music class, so free day. So I brought in my turntables on mixer, and I was mixing. And hold on for a second. I was mixing, and my student teacher, Mr. Whitehead, this alpha that I knew,
Mhm.
he said, yo, you don't need to be doing college parties. And I'm looking at him as a 15-year-old, like, word? You think I'm that good? He goes, hell yeah. He goes, matter of fact, he goes, let me make some phone calls this weekend. I'm gonna try to have you a gig by Monday. And sure enough, that dude came in there on Monday. He's like, yo, you're gonna be DJing for the sorority called Delta Sigma Theta Friday night at West Virginia State College as a
Okay.
15-year-old.
Right.
So I told my mom, I was excited. Hold up. Oh, I didn't get the best part. And he said, and they're gonna pay you $150. I was like, what?
Bring it.
$150 in the early 80s, mid 80s for a 15-year-old. I'm rich, bitch.
Yes. At all.
So anyway, I ran home, told my mom. she's like, okay, you know, I'll take you down there and I'll pick you. She's, you know, at the time, whatever. So it's from 9 to 2.
Mhm.
So obviously I couldn't drive. So my mom brought me down there. She came back to pick me up at 2. I tore the party down
Mhm.
to the point all the fraternities and sororities started hiring me on the campus. And it was crazy because they ended up getting to know my mom because you know I couldn't drive still.
Right,
So,
right.
you know, so she be driving up the sidewalk, I can hear her like, yo, move out the way. That's the DJ's mom. That's the DJ's mom. Whatever. At 2 a.m. That's why, honestly, bro, I think that's one of the reasons why, you know about my event, Heroes of Excellence Awards that I've been doing for 12 years. This will be my 12th year. This is why I honor Black women, is because of my mom, to be honest, because you know, for her to do that, no, true story. I remember I'm one of those people. If I have an idea in terms of mixing, I used to just get up. It didn't really matter what time of night it was. I get up in the middle of the night and just do the mix and
Right.
whatever. I
Yeah.
say, I know I can hear it in my head. Let me make sure I can do it on these tables.
Mhm.
And my dad used to be like, boy, if you don't turn that damn music down. And I remember on a Saturday night, I was doing it and he came in there with that. And then my mom pulled out in the hallway and I heard my mom say, hey, would you rather him be out there with the rest of his friends running the streets? Or would you rather have him in here working on this craft?
Mhm.
And my father never bothered me ever again after that.
That's great.
Like Black women are just amazing to me. But so anyway, so finally, you know, I was able to drive or whatever. So I started, you know, doing all the, you know, fraternity party. I started doing some local events and things of that nature. Went off to Marshall University. I was on WMUL, the college station. Um, we made it legendary. We were the first ones to start playing hip hop on the
Huh.
station.
Okay.
And I remember our white student advisor saying, yeah, you guys, your show is great. Everybody seems to love it, but kind of, you know, chill on the rap music. I don't know about this rap music stuff. And I'm looking, me and my boy Chuck, who lives up here in New York, we looked at him like, yeah, okay, whatever. So yeah, it was kind of cool. And then, so I did the college radio for like 2 years. And then around 87, I got approached by a brother who had a public radio station right next to West Virginia State College, the HBCU that I was telling you about.
Mhm.
So he wanted me to do a show on there. So I did a show on there called DJ John Quick's Hip Hop Assault. Yes, a direct bite off Mr. Magic's Rap Attack. One of my idols, you know. But it was a 3-hour hip hop, you know, dance music show that aired in Charleston, West Virginia on Monday nights. And I had he wasn't my frat brother at the time, but he was like a big brother to me. My boys, big shout out to my man Craig Grooms.
Shout out.
Craig used to come drive. He was a college admission person. I want to say it was at the University of Charleston at the time. But every Monday he used to drive out and get me from Marshall, which was an hour and change down the road, bring me down to DJ on the radio station, and then bring me back or whatever. And whatever, you know, so that's like, you know, he's like a big brother to me. So I always loved him for that, man. But he always looked out. But anyway, so I had that show. We were doing great in the ratings, did it for about 2 years, and then the owner of the station got arrested for improper use of funds. So the station just shut down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so then I moved to New York in December of '89.
What brought you to New York?
I always wanted to, you know, eventually become a DJ in New York. Also, I wanted to go to grad school at NYU.
Okay.
I wanted to do, you know, because I did a semester of grad school at Marshall for radio, television, communications. I wanted to finish at NYU. But you know, the way my finances were set up wasn't happening. So I got into working with kids. I was a counselor at Frederick Douglass Projects for like almost a year, working with, and especially I had a group of 10-year-old boys that I was working with. And then from there, I went into foster care for the city. I worked that for like a year. That was a complete nightmare because their foster care system is broke. They need to fix it, but that's a whole other conversation. And then I started working at a group home out in Long Island. I did that for years, and then I started teaching computers at a school out in Freeport for the emotionally disturbed children, which is basically just misunderstood children.
Yeah.
And that was a life-changing experience. But all the time, I'm DJing here and there. This is in the 90s here and there, but never, but I was trying to learn how to play New York because I feel like New York is a very unique market musically. There's certain songs that you can play in New York that people will go crazy over, whereas somewhere else they're gonna look at you like you got 3 eyes or something. Like real talk. So and one of the main things I had to learn how to do is play internationally. In West Virginia, it was either hip hop or R&B or top 40. That's it. Whereas in New York,
What were the popular songs in West Virginia?
a lot of funk songs like Zap and Roger Troutman and Midnight Star, artists of that ilk. And of course, when hip hop hit, it was crazy. Like we definitely loved the hip hop, all the New York hip hop and all that. We loved that, but it was a lot of funk music that was like, and of course the classics, Prince, MJ, but yeah, like a lot of the funk music that I would play in West Virginia, I wouldn't play in New York.
So what were the songs in New York that you discovered that got the crowd just going crazy?
Sylvia Strickland, Give Me Your Love. I Want to Thank You, Alicia Myers. What else? Before I Let Go, actually. I don't even remember hearing that in West Virginia, even though I know my mom did like Frankie Beverly. I may have heard it once or twice. She wasn't a huge Frankie Beverly fan.
Right.
But, Before I Let Go, I felt like I discovered that in New York when I moved to New York. Trying to think of what else. Obviously, the house music.
Yeah.
Me and my boy Chuck, we actually introduced house music to our college radio station back in the 80s and whatever. And, we had everybody, house your body, whatever. So yeah, it was definitely different musically. And I had to learn how to play reggae. I learned how to play reggae first. And then, as it got into like the 2000s, I started to learn how to play like soca. And then now, as you know, I'm that Afrobeat guy.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a second. But every time you say Chuck, and I know you said that was your boy from West Virginia, he up here now. But it reminded me of that night, the Black Panther night, because Chuck Chillout was there. Was that the first time you met him, or had you known him already?
Oh, Chuck Chillout?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, you have to remember I was on BLS by then, so I know Chuck.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, I know Chuck.
It just reminded me because y'all were both in the same room. I was like, did he meet him that night, or did he know him already?
Yeah. I know I've known Chuck for a while. Yeah. Matter of fact, I knew Chuck before I was on WBLS because I the one thing I used to love about that doesn't happen now, but before Serato, the digital DJ programs were out, the whole DJ community used to meet at these different record stores. We used to know each other because we used to, go to Rock and Soul. That's where I met Chuck. And I remember Chuck trying to get me to get on his DJ pool. And I was like, no, I'm good or whatever. But it was always really cool. Never had a, real issue with Chuck. He was always really cool. He was just pushy with that record pool stuff. And I was like, I'm good, bro. But long story short, getting back to, my journey, in the 90s, I DJ'd mostly, like I did Jones Beach Greek Fest. Big shout out to Big Stan, who was the creator of that huge, thing that used. And I remember, no lie, about to get on stage and DJ, but it was very disorganized at that particular stage. And I remember Biggie and Heavy D just walking ahead of me and just went up there and started performing. And I still have it on VHS somewhere. And I was thinking, and so I was like, I was thinking to myself, I'm not going on after that. No, it had that place on fire. It was crazy. And like Biggie I don't think he even had an album out by then. He was just starting out, he just, had the record on Who's the Man soundtrack.
Oh yeah, Party and bullshit. Yeah.
So it was crazy to see him and Heavy D out on the stage and turn up. His album may have just dropped. I don't matter of fact, I think it just did because he did do some records off the album. But I was like, I ain't going on after that. Whatever. So anyway, long story short, so
you took me back with that 90s hip hop though. I mean, with Biggie and Heavy, like just to think about all the people we've lost along the way.
No, it was crazy, bro. It was crazy. I remember them. Who else was on that stage? because I ended up doing a big after party at Amazora. That was bananas. But
Amazon.
Amazora in Queens, yeah, Amazora in Queens, yeah. So, oh, remember the kids from Staten Island? What were they called? They used to sing the song Blue Cheese.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I can't remember their names, man. I used to love that record, man. They were performing. Who else? Oh yeah, Black Sheep performed.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was nuts. It was nuts, man. But so anyway, so in the 90s, I DJ'd here and there in New York, mostly for fraternities and sororities. And the cool thing was I would always go back to West Virginia State College for what they had called May Weekend, which is like a Black alumni weekend outside of homecoming, right?
Okay.
And doing that, I've had the privilege of opening up for Jay-Z, for the Lox, for Biggie, for what's his name?
Grand Poobah.
Grand Poobah, yeah, Grand Poobah, CeCe Peniston,
Okay.
Bones Thugs and Harmony, like a lot of artists I open for. A lot of DJs can't say they ever open for, and now they never will. You know, for some of them, or whatever. So that was cool. You know, just to be able to put that on my Spinography. Spinography is a resume for DJs.
See what you made me do?
This is Thomas Lytell, former Vice President, Def Jam Records. I don't know why I'm telling you the obvious, but John Quick does the best parties in New York, hands down, bar none. You want to rock, have a good time from a professional DJ? I mean, not just a human record player, a professional disc jockey. John Quick is your man. Holla. All right.
They trying to clown on me. You can turn up your nose, high society.
Yeah. All right. So no, you got a great origin story. You took me from when you were 14 all the way to almost now to the 90s, early 2000s. But we cannot go on. If I say in the intro that he is the superhero DJ, I need to know about that origin story too. How'd you come up with the name? Who gave it to you? What happened? What's up?
So here's that was kind of an evolution. So back in 99, 2000, I did an matter of fact, it was earlier than that, like 98, I started producing music. Or whatever. So, I didn't know what I was doing. So I had some artists here and there, they're all dope. None of us knew what we were doing though. So anyway, my one day I don't know what happened. I was in a production session, and at the end, how producers talk their shit at the end or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that was produced by Mr. Fantastic. It was so funny. And my artist, I think it was Donna. She looked at me like, who? I was like, yeah, I'm Mr. Fantastic. So I rode with that for a while, Mr. Fantastic. Matter of fact, my ASCAP publishing company is called Mr. Fantastic Music.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right.
So after a while, I rocked with that for a couple of years. And then I just, I was like, you know what? I don't feel like Mr. Fantastic. I feel like I'm a multitude of, not a multitude, a mix of like all types of superheroes. Like one day I may feel like I can conquer the world, so I'm Superman. The other day I may feel like I gotta get real technical, so I'm Batman. Some other days these kids have me climbing the wall, so I'm Superman. So that's Superman, Spider-Man. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna be the superhero. So initially I was the turntable superhero, right? And I still go by that sometimes, but then for whatever reason I just decided to shorten up into superhero DJ, the Black superhero, all of that. And it's so funny because I remember this one particular brother, because I mean when that whole superhero thing hit, it had legs and like people were loving it. I remember this one brother. Matter of fact, he's one of my frat brothers. I ain't gonna say the name. I don't want to embarrass him, but I remember we were all sitting down on the bench one day. He was like, "Yo, man, you be ODing with that superhero stuff, bro. You be ODing." I just looked at him. I was like, all right, whatever, bro. Fast forward, starting last year, he started calling himself the Black superhero. See? So I called him out on that. Oh, wait a minute, bruh.
Right. OD.
You told me I was OD, and now you trying to steal my whole swag? Like, what's good with that? Whatever, Charles. Right. But anyway, it's all love. He's doing a lot of great things in the community. I love that brother.
Now, I started knowing you when you were like, come on, come on, it's monumental. You started doing the whole let's open
Oh
the shirt.
yeah.
So Superman is the one that
Yeah.
you're most
Yeah.
identified with, for real.
Superhero DJ, the superhero DJ. Because
All right,
people,
so bam, you
when,
out there.
when they see me do that, some people like Superman DJ, they know I'm a superhero. The S doesn't stand for Superman; it just stand for superhero.
Superhero.
Depending,
Okay.
depending on my mood, I can be because
Right.
you know me, and I love comic books. So I've always collected comic books. There was a time where I stopped doing it. So what I do now, because I don't get to the comic book store all the time, I wait till they become those little small graphic novels, whatever the story arc is, and then I buy those and whatever. So everything just seemed to line up. And here's the cool thing, and big up to Envy Magazine for pointing this out. Kyle Donovan, Chris Cheney, they was like, yeah, you're kind of a superhero because you work during the day with these kids, and then at night you turn into this rock star superhero, do DJing all over the world or whatever.
Yes.
So yeah, so I say it kind of fits.
Yo, what's up, NYC? This is your boy Teddy Riley from Blackstreet and Guy. And when I'm in the Gotham City, I rock with the superhero DJ, John Quick, right here on 107.5 WBLS. Peace.
I remember my former boss at WBLS, Skip Dillard. He loved it. He told me, he goes, yo man, this has legs. This has legs. Definitely, it's all about your brand. Always remember, your brand. So that's what it is, man. And it's funny because I always, as a person, as a brand, like if whoever's listening, if you don't learn nothing else, always remember that your brand is on 24/7. And you got to kind of represent that brand. So when you think of superhero, you think of somebody who has morality, who has integrity and things of that nature, and who's brave, who's willing to take chances or whatever, who has their people's backs. And so I feel like I fit all of those things, and I'm not perfect, but I try to always uphold that whole superhero mentality as I go through life. So
Let me
so
tell
yeah, that's how the whole superhero thing came about.
you have the best photos from when you're DJing. So you always have like your camera with you or your phone with you. You take the best photos, best clientele, like just people like that are at your events. I love it. I want to talk about I know you're on a schedule here, but I want to talk about how you got to BLS, how you fulfilled that prophecy that you told your dad. And then let's get into the Afro flavor and how you came upon that and how you ran with it, because it's just blown up.
Okay. In terms of BLS, I got to BLS. I was DJing at this spot called Contra in New York City on a Friday after work. And this guy comes up to me and he says, like, yo, my name is Chris Mercado. Just want you to know, thank you, man. I'm doing my birthday party here and you are rocking it, man. You need to be on the radio. I said, what's your name again? He said, Chris Mercado. I said, Chris, you might not remember me, but this is another story that's very important in terms of my journey. I met Jay Mixon Dixon, who we all call the voice of New York. He used to be the one that used to go 98.7 Kiss FM. He's my radio mentor. I met Jay. I remember listening to Kiss and hearing that he was going to be at NYU doing a production seminar. So I went, and after the seminar, I connected with him. We talked, and he invited me up to the studio at Kiss, which was a big deal for some little guy from West Virginia from a town of 35,000. So I went and whatever, we started talking and started talking about music, and we just vibed together. And he said, hey, he goes, why don't you just start coming by, come out, once or twice a week. So I became an unofficial intern at Kiss. And we did like some remixes together. We did a remix of Crystal Waters' Gypsy Woman that never saw the air because our PD at the time, Vinnie Brown, downtown Vinnie Brown, said he said it was too street. It was too street. He said he liked it, but it was too street. But it was hard. It was a dope remix.
Yeah.
I gotta find it. I don't know where I did it. I gotta find it. Maybe Jay has it somewhere. I have to ask Jay. But anyway, long story short, the official intern up there at the time was Chris Mercado.
Wow.
So who knew that we would reconnect, whatever. So he's like, yo, I gotta get you on BLS, whatever. So we remained in contact for probably like almost 2 years. At the time, one of my fraternity brothers, Dion, was the general manager there.
Mhm.
and the program director was Skip Dillard, who was ended up being my boss. And but at the time they had a music director. I think I can't recall his name, but he seemed like he was the one that was the holdup. And Chris couldn't understand why the holdup was, and Skip was like, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. And Dion looked at my resume. He said, "Listen, I could go in there and tell them like, look, we're hiring him, but I don't think I need to do that because I think your resume stands on its own." Because by then, I've done like a lot of like celebrity events or whatever, and I've done like events for Black Enterprise and Envy Magazine and Gatorade, and I was pretty well established. I was doing like 4 or 5 events a week,
Mhm.
and so I was like, okay, I'll trust the process, so to speak. And what happened was finally that music director left, but here's the irony: he left the week before Kiss FM went off the air. And when Kiss FM went off the air, you know what I was thinking? Like, oh, all those DJs from Kiss, the popular ones like Red
Oh.
Alert, Cher, they're all just going to go over to BLS,
Mhm.
which they did. BLS went off the air that Sunday night. I remember, not BLS, Kiss,
Yeah.
and I remember Stephen A. Smith coming on because they replaced it with ESPN Radio,
Mhm.
and I remember ESPN. I remember Stephen A. Smith coming on the air, and I have so much love for him for this. He gave a whole soliloquy of how sad he was because Kiss was going off the air because he grew up on Kiss FM. Which a
Queens,
lot of us.
yep. That's Queens
Yeah.
boy. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that was that Sunday. So I'm all down Monday, like damn, well, I guess there goes my shot at being on WLS. Do you know that Tuesday I got the call like, hey, we want you to come on and do a mix for Memorial Day weekend on WBLS.
That was it. The
I
door
was like,
opened.
look at God. So that's what happened. I got my foot in the door. I started out with the mixed weekends, and then Skip, he eventually had me in a rotation for the Mix at 6. It was like 4 of us for the Mix at 6 on WBLS. So that was great. So I was doing that, and again the mixed show weekends or whatever. So what happened was, fast forward to like that was 2012. Fast forward to like 2000, late 2018. I came to no matter of fact, it was 2019. Sorry about this, like early 2019. I stepped to Hot 97 and WBLS sister stations.
Mhm.
So I fell in love with Afrobeat probably like back in 2016, 2017. Big up to my man DJ Moma, who from Everyday People, who introduced me to the genre just by me going to his events, and I just started loving it. And then I had some African female friends, beautiful ones, who start saying like, "Yo,
Let me tell you
you'll
something.
get
Let's
like."
just stop it right there. All of your female friends. Let me just get
Yeah,
into the microphone.
that's true. That
All.
is true. I
All
won't
right,
argue with
okay.
you that I have a lot of beautiful friends. I'm not gonna lie about that. I think there's a lot of times that's why some promoters hire me, not because I'm a good
That's
DJ,
who you
because
bringing.
that's who I'm bringing. Yeah. But whatever works. But long story short, they start sending me like different links, like, yo, you should check this artist out. So I just really started getting into the genre. But then I started looking around the radio, and not just on a local level, but a national level, there were no Afrobeat radio shows on any major broadcast stations that I knew of, except one, Afro Zones in Chicago,
Mhm.
right? So, and they were like, they weren't like I wanted to do a mix show, and they weren't really. They did a little bit of mixing, but they weren't really a true mix show. So I stepped to P.O. Farrell, who is the PD at Hot 97. I stepped to him with the idea, and he was kind of open, but he was kind of skeptical in terms of, is there enough music to justify having a whole show on Afrobeat?
Yeah.
Which to me is comical, because they put out as much music as the Caribbean, and there's several Caribbean shows in New York. There's
Mhm.
several. You got Everything Goes with Nori. You got David Levy's show. I mean, there's others, but Bobby Condors.
Oh
So
yeah.
I said, how come? I was thinking like, how come we can't get Afrobeat can get just 1 hour? But so he was like, hey, you know, I don't want to. Enough is over the mix shows. I want to step in his toes, so I'll throw it at Enough and see what happens. So I never heard back from Enough, so which is all good. It is what it is. He maybe the schedule is full. I don't know, but I was like, you know what? Let me just ask BLS. I wasn't sure about BLS just because it's an older demographic, and I know Afro beats with the dances and everything online. It seems to, appeal to a younger demographic.
Skews younger, like yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Excuse.
Exactly. Yeah. So I like the way you said that. So anyway, I stepped to my my boy Chris Ricardo, who is a producer at WBLS at the time, and he said, "Man, we should step to Skip about this." And so we did. He loved the idea. It was just a matter of selling it to corporate. They said, let's give it a try. So we started out at 2 a.m. Afro Flavor Radio. It was me, myself. I had a co-host, Sana, and Nigerian sister. And we did 2 a.m. on Fridays for wow.
It was a while.
Well, almost a year.
Yeah, you are my African queen.
So we have Tu Baba coming to Afro Flavor Radio today on 107.5 WBLS. I am excited, and let's go get them. This is Afro Flavor Radio with your Niger girl, Sana Keys.
And I'm your superhero DJ John Quick and Sana. I'm so excited of who we got in the building tonight.
Yes, we have the legendary, the trailblazer, one of the men who started this whole Afro beats movement that we are jamming to today. We have Tu Baba in the building. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, man.
I'm still starstruck at the fact that we started this show 8 months ago, and this is the first Afrobeat show in a major U.S. market. And the fact that we have Tu Baba on our show lets me know that we are doing something. Ginger.
Yes, sir.
More fire. Now, let's get into, for those who do not know who Tu Baba is, Tu Baba started his music journey in the 90s with Plantation Boys, who were one of the first groups making new school Nigerian music that achieved nationwide popularity. And then in 2005, he released African Queen, that changed the face of Nigerian music in the U.S. and across the globe. Now, I have to first ask you, because I feel like African Queen was that song that really just resonated with a global audience. Why did you feel like you had to make that your first major solo single?
Wow, the song just took off on its own, man. It was a full album, but that song just took off. It just when you say bolt on everything, it just it was just a desire to do a decent love song to celebrate the African woman. So I think based on the respect and the melody and everything, I think that's it.
Yes.
And then towards the end of the year, we debuted in June of 2019. We started really talking about moving to a primetime slot in late December, early January. And then finally, they set a date for us to move to 11 o'clock on Friday night. So we're super excited. But guess what happened? It was the same weekend everything shut down for the first time. Yeah. So obviously everything shut down. So people are not going out because, radio is big in the cars. And so we had weird ratings for the first 3 or 4 months. So we couldn't really tell what type of impact we had. But then July, things started to get back to a little bit of normal from that first wave. And from July to December, we had the #1 radio show for African Americans in the 11 o'clock hour for the 25 to 54 demographic, which is the demo that we gun for, and whatever, that everybody guns for. It's a great demo because they spend the most money. And we were beating, when I say we were beating them, we were doubling up our competition, both Power 105 and Hot 97. So, what happened was Funk Flex came in as the new mix show coordinator. And one of the first things he did, he replaced our show with DJ Enough and whatever. And the explanation I was given by my new supervisor was that they were just looking to go into more of a set that matched the entire block, because the entire block was hip hop R&B,
Right.
whatever. So obviously I wasn't happy about that, but I get radio, I understand what she was talking about, and so I left it at that. But the cool thing was, my idol, DJ idol, my boy, one of my best friends, DJ Scratch, immediately heard about it and said, "Yo, you can come over to Scratch Vision. I'll put you on at 7 o'clock on Fridays." Scratch Vision is the #1 platform for DJs. He has some of the most amazing, most iconic DJs on there. And so it was an honor for us to bring that Afrobeat element there. So we're on every Friday, 7 p.m. on Scratch Vision. All you gotta do is go to the platform and click on the radio link on Fridays today and whatever. So I'm eternally grateful for that. So we've been there since then. Now we're looking to be syndicated. So we've been through a transition of co-hosts, whatever. So we have a new co-host that'll be starting next week. And so once we get a few shows under the belt, we're gonna start shopping for syndication then, whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole story. Big up my producer again, Chris McCardo, because
Shout out. Yeah, but yo,
grinding.
your whole life is like a success story. Like I'm just sitting here like this guy's done even more than I thought.
No, not really, bro. I'm just grinding. Like, no, honestly, two of my biggest highlights aside from Afro Flavor is, I was able to DJ for Beyonce at Citi Field for her pre formation tour VIP event. And the funny story about that is, when I get there, the guy who's over the event say, "Oh, by the way, you can't play any Beyonce." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I'm going to be in a room full of Beehive people, and you tell me I can't play no Beyonce?" So I had to start thinking quick on my feet. So what I did was, once the room got filled up, I let the people know, like, "Hey, I can't play no Beyonce tonight." It was like, "What?" You can hear them buzzing. I said, "But what I can do is do this." And I start playing all of the samples from her record. And they was losing their mind. To the point the guy comes up to me like, "Yo, we've been doing this tour for several weeks and nobody's ever danced at this party." He goes, "I got to get to," and before he could say anything, Beyonce COO Steve Pammon came up there, who was my fraternity brother, very good friend of mine. He was like, he's like, "This is what I expected. I expected this to happen. This is my man." Like, yeah. So it's crazy. So that was 2016. Fast forward 2017. 2007. I can't remember. Either way, a year later, through nothing related to Beyonce, I ended up DJing for Jay-Z at Nassau Coliseum. Same type of party, VIP pre-party for his 444 tour. But the difference was they was like, "Yo, you play all the Jay-Z you want." Because think about it, Jay-Z got hits upon hits upon. I could play Jay-Z forever. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've definitely been blessed. I've DJ'd events that Patti LaBelle's hosted, and I'm the official DJ.
Go ahead.
Official DJ basically for the Black Entertainment and Sports Lawyers Association. So they have me all over the world DJing. So that it's just been good, man. But the pandemic hit me hard, man. I'm still trying to make up some of that money from the, whatever. But it hit all of us hard. So we're just trying to grind, man. I still feel blessed, and I'm still able to do what I love to do and make a living doing it. So.
Well, yeah, what I was gonna say before you hit it, man. You've been all over the world with this. Like you went from trying to learn New York to now you're in every city. Like every year in New Orleans, Essence.
Oh yeah, Essence Fest. Yes. Big shout out to Keisha Walker. I love you, sis.
Shout out.
Keisha, like I've been DJing for her in New Orleans for like the past 9 years. So.
And what did our girl Keisha? What did she have you doing for? Did you do some events for her too?
Oh no, I didn't do any. You know what I did? I was actually the host for that event. For those of you who don't know who we're talking about, when Black Panther first came out, I hosted an influencer event where they had the actual for Lexus, and they had the actual Lexus from the movie in the building, and my man Will was there, man. It was a beautiful event, man. So I didn't DJ that. I actually was the actual host for that, or whatever.
You expanded your portfolio. That's all you do.
Yeah, exactly.
But I said New Orleans, Atlanta.
Oh yeah, bro. One more. Yeah. And I did a commercial for DC Comics because of the superhero brand. The director of publicity, big shout out to Willie Roseberry, at Warner Brothers. She's over all the DC Comics content on TV and the movies.
Mhm.
So they have this big event. You probably heard of it called DC Fandom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a commercial for that on IG, and it was like, I mean, when I say like hundreds of thousands of likes, it was bananas. And basically it was just telling people how I started, liking comics and whatever. But yeah, so so I'm an official DC Comics influencer. So
This
it's
is
been
amazing.
wild, man.
This is amazing. All right, the last thing I really want to hit on, because you mentioned it earlier, but I want you to really tell people what the event is all about. The Heroines of Excellence. Is that
Yeah.
because this is a big deal, because we see a lot of days, and even with a lot of this crap that's going on a lot of different podcasts, they say, oh, I can't, Black women, blah blah blah, but to have somebody to celebrate them annually, and I imagine daily, it's a big deal, and it needs to be talked about and celebrated. So tell everybody about the event and its 12th year, because I know it's coming up in June. So tell everybody about that.
So basically, if you guys remember when Haiti had that horrific earthquake back in 2010, I was involved with doing several major fundraisers. And I remember doing one with D Nice, DJ Kiss, DJ MOS, Tony Touch. I did several. And so one of my dear friends is the actress Rochelle Aites. You may know her from Tyler Perry's Family was it Family Reunion? Yeah, I think it was Family Reunion. And she was a star on ABC's Mistresses for several seasons. Anyway.
Hey everybody out there, it's Rochelle Aites here, and I just wanted to say to DJ John Quick, congratulations on your 10th annual Heroines of Excellence Awards. You honored me at your very first award ceremony, and I am so grateful and so honored to be a part. Thank you so much for honoring women of color and recognizing our many, many talents.
Anyway, she hit me up. She was like, John, I love what you're doing with all this fundraising for Haiti. Let me know what I can do to help. I said, well, why don't you come home? She was in LA at the time. Why don't you come home and host a party, and I'll DJ and we'll raise funds there. But then I started thinking about it. I said, wait a minute. It's National Women's History Month. Why don't I have her come home and I'll honor her and maybe a few other women? So it's supposed to be maybe 2 or 3 women, but then I started going through my portfolio of friends. I'm like, I have some amazing female friends. So I ended up honoring 8 women, I believe. And we called it DJ John Quick's Heroes of Excellence Awards. So it came off so well. We held it at the spot called Arena in New York City. Uptown Magazine was one of the sponsors. It was amazing. And it came off so well that, as I'm leaving, people say, yo, you got to do this every year, right? You got to do this every year, right? And so next thing I look up, I'm going into my 12th year, and we've honored, such luminaries as DJ Beverly Bond, Deja Vu from Sirius XM and WBLS. Who else? I mean, I could go on and on, like Rochelle Carey from Al Jazeera, Renee Neufeld from Janae, Mashonda, Swiss Beats ex-wife, Big Les,
our mutual friend Chanel Gabriel.
Sure, Chanel Gabriel, who's just a dope poet and artist, and a champion for lupus. Who else? I mean, there's so many. I can't even begin to name all of them. There's so many great women that I've honored. Big Les, I said Big Les, I believe. I'm trying to think. There's somebody else that I'm leaving out that I probably should mention. Yvette Noel Shore, who is Beyonce and Prince's publicist. Yeah. So
what are the criteria? What is the criteria for women to?
It's so funny. The criteria is there's two criteria. One is that you got to be an up and coming person, in your field, that you're doing a damn thing. Or you could be someone that's been a bridge builder, just a powerhouse in your field, and has never been truly recognized for it. Okay. So it's those are the 2 type of women I honor, and just so happens that I know a lot of those type of women personally. So it's pretty easy for me to pull people in and things of that nature. This year We're going to have, it's going to be crazy. We're going to have it in a new venue that hasn't even opened yet in Harlem. I can't really speak on the name yet, but it's going to be amazing. And our iconic sister award is going to go to Vanessa Williams.
Wow.
Yeah. She's
Nah,
coming.
see y'all hanging out in where were y'all? Mexico, Florida, somewhere. Where were y'all?
We were in Panama one year, and then another year we were in Puerto Vallarta recently. This is all through the Black Entertainment Sports Lawyers Association.
See, I'll be paying attention. I'll be watching. I'll be seeing.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah.
But that's really dope, man. She is an icon, man. I think I still watch Soul Food.
Oh yeah.
I still watch.
That's one of the best TV shows ever.
Man. And you don't realize, you go back, you're like, oh, they was really tackling stuff back then, man.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love it, man. I know you gave me this time, and I want to really respect it. So who else besides Vanessa Williams? Let's get some more names, because I know it's coming up in June. Who are the other sisters that are on your radar this year?
Hold on, not even on my radar. I have to pull it up. Let me see.
Okay, it's all good.
Let me see. I know I got them in here somewhere. Okay, here we go. So, my podcast partner, that we're gonna be starting season 2 very soon. So make sure you follow me on Instagram at DJ John Quick. Her name is Bobby Baker. You've seen her in several Tyler Perry movies. She used to be Kiki the Barber on Tyler Perry's House of Pain or whatever. She's gonna be one of my honorees. Dr. Kordai Dikoto, she's gonna be one of my honorees. Mofaniso Akpan, she's the artistic director of Step Africa. She's gonna be one of my honorees. Lilian Mahid, she's the director of marketing for the NBA. Heather Palmore, she has a nationally known law firm. Shantae White Yates, she's actually she owns this nonprofit called Harlem Hugs, which mentors young women, like adolescent women or whatever. Dana Wilson, she has some amazing things she's doing in the tech world. Aria Wright is one of the dopest marketing people that ever walked the face of the earth. And of course, the incomparable Erica Lyles. You may know her as our boy, Kevin
Lyles.
Kevin Lyles
did her party. You just did her party, or his party.
Did a party, but she does so much. I mean, she's a marketing genius. She works with what's the young lady that has the I can't think of it right now, but she has a makeup line that Erica is working with. And she's worked with some of the most iconic brands in the world, so she's dope. So I'm looking forward to honoring all these women in June. It's going to be, I believe it's going to be June. It's going to be the day before Juneteenth. I can tell you that.
Okay.
And so we're getting everything together. So anybody listening that wants to be a sponsor, reach out to me. Like I said, at DJ John Quick on Instagram, hit me my DM. Always looking for sponsors. Last year we had Dark and Lovely, Fresh Direct. We had New York City's hospitals as one of our sponsors. So it was a great event. And, hopefully this year, keep my fingers crossed, we'll be able to do it in person, and, I just love honoring these beautiful women, man. It's a lot of work, bro, but it's totally worth it when you see the smiles, pop up in, these ladies' faces when they're receiving their flowers, so to speak.
That's what I was going to say. I love the smile that pops up on your face, even when you're just talking about it or discussing, what you're able to do for them, man.
Yes, it's part. My mom was telling me, that's part of your legacy now. So
it is.
I gotta keep it going.
Every superhero has a legacy. That's all.
There it is. There it is.
Legacy.
And an origin story.
Yeah. So, but before I let you go, I like to do this at the end of the show. I have 3 questions that I like to ask. The show is called Here's What I Got. So I'm gonna start it off with Here's What I Got, and I'm gonna ask you 3 things, and this is what you're doing. Here's what I got. What would you tell people who like to take chances and cut the cord on their day job?
Life is too short. Go forward. If it doesn't work out, you can always go back. That's it.
Okay. All right. Here's what I got. What would you tell people who are navigating New York City from another city?
Get out, learn the culture, and New York isn't as mean as you think it is. There are a lot of friendly, good people here.
Okay. And the last one. Here's what I got. What is your message to the world?
My message is to the world. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Help people if you are in a position to help them. And just always remember, life is precious, and tell the people that you love them when you see them. Guy or girl, don't matter. Like, real talk. Like, I love you, bro. I appreciate you, man. You always like supported me, always looked out. And
You are amazing.
Life is too short. So that's what I'm saying. Tell people you love them.
All right, last question, and I'm throwing this in there because I want to see what you say. Who should be the next Black Panther? Go ahead.
Let me think about that one.
Who should it be? What you got?
Man. Oh man. Honestly, I was gonna say the guy that's going to be playing Hawkman in the upcoming movie. I forget his name, but I think he could be. I think Denzel's son could be decent.
Okay.
But to be honest, I would. You know who would be dope? I think.
Who?
The guy that plays what's the show on Netflix? Lupin or
Lupin. Omar Sy.
Omar Sy. I think Omar Sy would be. Matter of fact, he would be my first choice right now.
He would be better on that than he was on Lupin because that big black man trying to go. Guys.
I think
black man in the city.
Big shout out to my friend, because I know 3 of the girls on the Dora Milaje, but I speak to Zola the most. So big shout out to Zola. I love her.
Shout out.
Zola Williams. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
hey,
man.
bro. Do you watch Captain America and did you watch Captain America and the Winter Soldier?
I did. Yeah.
All right. So not Captain America. No, I guess it was Captain America in the Winter
What
Soldier.
you talking about? The Disney show.
The Disney show, yeah.
Yeah.
So remember when they beat up the fake Captain America? Remember the girl that was holding the thing to his neck?
Yeah.
That's Zola. That's Zola. That's Zola. And the funny thing is, she's the sweetest thing in person. She's the sweetest thing.
I love it. Yep. Let me tell you something, man. Thank you so much for being on. I'm gonna let you go because I know you got things to do, and I got my time. So I want you to really remember that you always have my support for whatever you need. If I got it, you got it, and that's not just talk. That's for real. I love you. I love you as a brother and as a creative. You really are an inspiring person. So I want you to know that. And you might hear it all the time, but even if you don't, I want you to know that is the truth. And you just keep going. And your dad is proud of everything that you're doing, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother.
All right.
I appreciate you, man.